So I was gone for a couple days for Champs Paris, and I didn't get to watch all of the games whilst I was traveling. And one of the games that I missed was this game, DRX versus Team Liquid, where DRX won 2-0. And the main talking point from this game was Team Liquid's Corrode, because whilst their comp in and of itself looks, fairly normal, the fact that Nats was playing Waylay obviously was not very normal whatsoever, and that raised a lot of eyebrows, I think, and most people from what I've seen, the reaction mainly was, why the hell is Nats on Waylay? What are Team Liquid doing? There is parts to this that I do want to talk about from like a kind of my perspective. One is that Team Liquid picked Corrode. Now, when you go for this and you pick a map that they've cooked something up, right? They've cooked something special up here, Team Liquid. And you're the one that's picking the map, and so you're the one that's taking a risk. I personally don't love that, because what can happen is if it goes wrong, you're probably just going to lose. And that is exactly what happened to Team Liquid. So if you are going to go for some big surprise, personally, I'd probably prefer it to be either a map 3 or, you're baiting your opponent into picking a map, right? That is what I would prefer for one, not necessarily picking it, unless you feel super confident in it, which if you did, then that's a strange thing to feel super confident in. The second thing about this is, you're going for this kind of surprise, but the thing is, the actual agents themselves aren't that big of a surprise, right? I mean, DRX run this, double duelist Waylay idea on every map. So, especially against this team, they're not going to be surprised by it. That's the thing that they've been playing for quite a while at this point, right? So, they're going to be chilling against this. What's the surprise is who's on the agents. But that doesn't matter to DRX. So I feel like the theory of going for this all just feels a little bit strange. But what's interesting is actually when I watched the game, I wasn't that taken aback. But there were still some problems. But before we talk about Team Liquid's problems playing Valorant, first let's talk about your problems playing Valorant. Now, the replay viewer just got added to the game, so now is a perfect time to finally get better at Valorant by looking at your own VODs. But looking at your own VODs on your own, you might not be able to figure out what is going wrong for you, and that is where the Gosu Academy can help. Because with the Gosu Academy, you'll get access to pro coaches who can help you go through those VODs and improve your game. You'll be able to join the 10-mans as well, and you'll be able to play with other like-minded people who are trying to actually get better at this game. And not only that, you can join for free for 30 days, and so you can check out whether the Gosu Academy is something that you would be interested in. So go check the link in the description or in the pinned comment for the Gosu Academy, and check out if the Gosu Academy might be a thing for you that can finally help you reach the rank that you actually want to get. Thanks to Gosu Academy for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to it. So now let's talk about Team Liquid's problems, and we're going to start off here with round number 3. They've won the pistol. This is their bonus round, so it's not a disaster that they lose it, but the way in which they lose it isn't great.
Will be up to Mako to see if they can push it back and shove it off. Good call for the cancel, and that's going to be sending in as well. We'll be looking for it. Fast lane up to try and divide this one up, but the wall is going to be, okay, popped up immediately. Great with the blind. Kiko does respond, though, with that kill straight away, but up towards the top through an open target, and a sitting duck at that. Mako. Quick dismissal, that horn's broken, and this guy is on fire right now.
Okay, so Liquid in this round, they're just going for this full B exec, right? And very simple idea. In we go. Double duelist. Let's do this. Double duelist Omen. Let's dive in there, right? Let's go. Well, it goes about as bad as it can, right? So when you're playing, Waylay Neon, obviously they're playing against a Vice here. First thing you've got to deal with, of course, is the wall, right? And in terms of options here, Neon versus this Vice wall or versus Vice Thorns, right? Neon, that's not good for a Neon to see this stuff, right? Because it's very tough for a Neon to deal with. Easier for a Waylay to deal with, but even this wall is still a problem, right? Because you don't want to go in, refract back out, you trade it for the wall. You've also used your Neon wall here as well, right? So that would be a lot to trade for just, essentially one Vice wall. They decide they want to rip this anyway, right? And this is where I think the confusion comes in, is that Kiko just, is TPing in. They've decided they want to go for this no matter what anyway, even though they are just sprinting into a Vice setup. And so what that means is essentially when you look at this on the map, in goes Camo, and Nats is trapped behind the wall. We've got Omen in, back here behind my head. You got Camo in, the wall is up, these three are trapped out. Our Neon is having to run through thorns. None of it, it just does. It's nonsensical, right? This just doesn't work. This just is not how this is meant to go whatsoever. And obviously your Waylay, and this is what we'll talk about with Nats, of course. When we've seen Waylay played well, how does it work? Well, how does it work? It goes, Waylay jumps in here, right? Throws a saturate, refracts back out, brings eyes to wherever the waylay's gone, and then the neon, you know, and the omen go in afterwards and, you know, take advantage of the potential hindered and looking the wrong way players, right? That's what a good waylay, that's what DRX's waylay looks like. Obviously, that's impossible when, you know, we're just going in there. And again, I think it shows that Nats, you know, again, he's using a waylay, like, he's just going to throw his saturate out, right? So he just throws out. So again, he's not using the tech that, I mean, literally Liquid have seen used against them, where it's we dive in, throw a saturate at someone you see and refract out. He just throws it, right? He just throws it like it's a Viper Molly. And obviously it doesn't go well for them, and then, you know, DRX just absolutely tear them apart. You know, I mean, Kiko there, that's a 0%, and now Nats decides to entry, you know, with essentially no util. They don't destroy the Haunt. That gets Patitek killed, and the round is over. So, look, it's a bonus round. It's not a disaster that they don't win that one, but as you saw there, you know, in terms of how you would want that to go, that's pretty much about as bad as it could be. Okay, now let's come to round number 4, the very next round. And this one just makes me laugh, to be honest. This one I just found pretty funny because because of what Nats does. Because, again, we just go for what seems to be a fast A exec, right? And, again, I would say first thing here is that, you know, Nats is kind of a little second in there rather than, you know, using it, you know, how you might expect. But then he refracts out after getting the kill. They get the first kill, right? So it's not a disaster. They got this double lurk up mid. The next part is what I find funny, right? Because just keep your eye on Nats on this map now, right? So they've just got the first kill on A here. You've got a double walk up, you know, mid coming in here. Obviously, he's the IGL, but he just, at this point, I think, goes into full... Oh, at this point, there'll be a space on B. Like, he's gone into full lurk mode, right? I'm on Viper again, guys. And I know how, you know, they're going to rotate off this. And so there's actually going to be a free B site. So I on Waylay, I'm going to literally run the entire length of the map here. And you guys pause whilst I, you know, do my lurk on B because I'm playing Viper, right? You know, or Cypher or something, right? Well, no, he's on Waylay, of course. So, you know, these guys pause and then, you know, create a bit of pressure to then, again, like, make sure that this is a nice open space for my Waylay, who, again, has run from this point here all the way around the map to open this gap. Now, here's the thing. It works, right? Like, you'll see now, Nats is going to come in here. It's going to cause him some problems. He realizes it's a free B site. Like, it works. They're going to come back over towards this B site. So, the end of this is fine. But, of course, how we get there just made me laugh. Because, again, you know, we get into a 4v2. We're going to win the round. You tell me how many other duelists you know would get this kill, refract back, and then think, hold on a second, guys. I'm going to go to B. Like, who would do that, right? Like, what other player ever thinks, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. I'm going to run all the way around the map now. You know, no one else is doing that. And that, again, just goes to show, like, you know, the tendencies that they have as players to what to do. You know, it's just baked into Nats' brain. And he knows that there will possibly be a gap. And this is a lot of how Liquid work anyway, right? Like, we get a kill, we pause for Nats to go, you know, find some space. Everyone else just pause. We create some pressure. It gives him even more space. And then he's able, you know, then you can come back to me and we can exploit the space. Like, the theory of the round is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just who's doing it and how we got there is obviously quite strange. But, yeah, this one made me laugh just because I don't think any other team running... you know, most comps would ever get to this situation, but they did, and hey, look, they won the round, so it's all good. Okay, but now let's skip ahead to round number 10, and the thing I want to point out here is, you know, I do just want to focus on the attack side, because that's obviously where the duelist, you know, you're thinking more about how a duelist would play and stuff like that, and what Nats is, you know, entering essentially was looking like. They actually gave him an attack op at this point, right? But, and with the op, he looked pretty good, and this round is going to be an example of, like, this is a pretty nice round.
This one goes. Just hearing that early flash from Trex. Sends it flying forwards, but it was dodged, so we didn't get the indicator that there were players posted up into B.
But he leaves the danger zone. And at some point here, DRX have got to dismantle the trap play, because you can't commit 3 players to B the entire round.
You're fully relying on your team to just hold it down over towards A. Got the wall and the 2 sets of thorns up, but Prowler doesn't spot anything. It's a game of question marks right now. DRX are trying to piece together where the hell Team Liquid are on the map. Jumpman re-exploring in through mid. Nats is south going walkabouts.
early use of the refract as well. He's going to now recognize that there's a vice wall in front of him, tries to bait it out.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Third time's a charm. Flash gets some acknowledgement there as well.
But throughout all of this, DRX are not super happy about information in mid. Hyunmin's trying to pick it up. And we've seen him take those fights with Saturate, but right now,
I thought
is this a real exec?
I'll be going into these plays as well. They only have the classics really to their name. Hinder slightly and slowly gliding down, freeing. Yeah, wasn't really favored in a fight like that. Steel Garden as well. We've fully taken away any other remaining guns.
When you watch this round, I mean, it's a good attack round, right? Like, it's a perfectly fine attack round from pretty much everything we do, right? Like, we insert Neon in towards mid here with support. You got the Vice Wall over towards B. You got Nats, you know, kind of looking for that first pick with an op, right? Getting pretty deep here over towards A. They recognize that this is where the Vice setup is, that they can, you know, get rid of some of it. We see the flash. We get the Thorns coming out as well. We trip the wall, right? And then we just go away with a fatal. Like, it's perfectly fine. Everything that they do here is pretty good. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, which is that when I first saw this, right, and I saw the reaction to it, I was expecting, you know, much more of a disaster, I think, right? That, like, these rounds just wouldn't exist, where it looks like, you know, looks like a fairly standard, decent attack round, right? Yeah, we're using some ults, but, you know, it's not, like, it's pretty clean, it's pretty good. And this is the thing that I wanted to say, that, like, yeah, there are parts of this, and we'll get to a round in a second as well, that, you know, didn't look very good. And there are parts of this that, yeah, weren't that great. And you might be like, what the hell are Team Liquid doing? But we don't also need to, you know, we don't need to pretend that this was like the worst thing you've ever seen, the worst, you know, play you have ever seen, just because Liquid happened to lose. And it was actually the other side of the map on their defense side where they struggled more. But let's finish with round number 12 here, which was, again, a bit of a disaster.
Players grouped up here from Team Liquid. Looks like a very much all-in, honest look towards the B. See how they deal with this one. See if they send Nats forwards. Sees, connects onto... Nats is really finding it difficult to get much done into this spot. Still that double dash is there, but he's blinded up! Bane finds his mark, at least with a full, but they don't realize that Kiko was already in. It was that double TP still. The team ready. Rifles well trained onto the choke point.
So yeah, nothing really good about this all-in B exec from Liquid in round 12 here. This time, we saw in the first round that I showed, you know, Camo going in and Nats not making it in. This time, they do kind of the opposite. Nats also activates his refract early on, and that does matter here quite a lot, because you will see in just a second, he also gets called by the Seas, and now we're ready to go in, but you can see his refract is going to go, and that is a big problem. For him. Again, he's used his saturate early on, you know, not really finding any value from that either. So again, this time it's going to be him and Kiko who go in, but Camo gets locked out. He also gets smacked by this Vice Flash from DRX, and Bane gets a nice, easy free kill just there, right? And this whole thing is just, you know, made so easy again for DRX. Because, again, like, our understanding probably of this isn't the greatest. As hopefully you've seen from those clips, yeah, it wasn't always good from Team Liquid. They didn't have the understanding on Waylay really that much, and my ongoing point about Waylay is if you put a ton of time into Waylay like DRX have, and you have somewhat mastered the agent and you know what you're doing with it, then sure, you know, go and play it. And if not, don't.